Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome again to 3V TV with me, Tony Brown of TonyLBrown.com, the creator and developer of the 3V strategy for business development and growth. Welcome. Thank you for joining me this evening. It is Thursday, the 8th of January, 2015. We've got another packed show for you today. And as always, here at 3V TV, it's all about helping you develop the lifestyle you want by building the business you dream of. And that's what it's all about. So hello and welcome. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who fed back about last week's show. It was the first formal show, the first official show. Like I said, I did do a previous show, which is just a freestyle. I just turned on the Hangout, jumped on. But last week was the first formal official show. And like I said, I got lots of positive feedback. So thank you all. I really, really appreciate the feedback. It does mean a lot. And, I'm glad you got some value from it. And I trust that you're going to get lots of value from today's show. So what have we got for you today? Well, on today's show, we'll be looking at job cuts, more job cuts. Again, I covered it last week. It's not a reoccurring theme that I planned to cover, but it just came to my attention this week that there's been further job cuts. So we want to explore that and explore how you can prepare for those job cuts. We also want to look at the barriers or the false barriers that people erect when planning to start their own business or wanting to start their own business. I've been engaging with a number of people this week on Twitter and other platforms who have the desire or the intention to start their own business, but there's a number of barriers they put in place. So I really want to address some of those barriers and how you can overcome them and just get started. We also want to look at digital content theft. Now, it's a huge issue. There's lots of digital content freely available on the internet that we own, that's got an owner, it's got a copyright attached to it, but this content is being stolen, being repurposed, and those thieves are making money from that content. So we want to look at the issue of digital content theft and how you as a digital content creator can protect yourself. So that's another thing we're going to cover. And finally, we're going to look at one of the most valuable resources, but one of the almost forgotten resources on the internet. There's a gold mine of value that is forgotten by most people. So those are the things we're going to explore today. And remember, as always, if you've got any questions for the show, any comments, if you want to engage in the show, if you use the question and answers box, if you're on Google Plus, there should be a question and answers box to one of the sides. You can just shoot your question over and I'll try and answer it as swiftly as possible. You can also shoot your questions to me on Twitter. I've got a live Twitter feed here I'm going to be monitoring. So if you want to shoot your questions on Twitter, then feel free. You can get me at Tony L Brown 3VS. And if you use the hashtag 3VTV and just shoot me a question, shoot me a comment, and I'll try and pick it up. I'll try and monitor the live feed as best as possible while delivering the show. And we'll just engage. That's what it's about. I don't just want to sit here and monologue. I really want to engage with you. I want to answer your questions. I want to give you as much support as possible. So like I said, it's all about business, branding, digital marketing, and giving you as much help in those areas as possible. So again, thanks for joining me. We're going to go for half an hour. We run slightly over last week, but it was the first show. It was packed full. We're going to try to stick to time this week. So I've got half an hour. If you've got to miss EastEnders, I apologize. You could probably catch it up on catch up, but you know what? You'll get more value from this show than you would from that rubbish. So let's go straight into it. Job cuts. Now, I've got a coaching client who I've been working with for a few months, who I'm supporting him make the transition from employee to getting himself set up and becoming a business owner. And he's working very hard. He's got his head down. He's really been grinding and trying to work through the steps and the process to get himself to a position where he can walk away from his job. On the first day back to work after the Christmas break, so he broke up for Christmas, had Christmas off, New Year, etc. On the first day back to work, he was called into a meeting. Him and all the other employees within that organization were called into a meeting, and we're basically told that the budget for that organization has gone into deficit and that their jobs are at risk. And that was the first message they were delivered. Happy New Year, welcome back. Oh, by the way, your job's at risk. Wonderful. What a wonderful start to the new year. And like I said, I spoke about job cuts in the last episode, and it's not a reoccurring theme I plan to deliver, but I bring it up just to show and emphasize the reality and the harshness of the situation out there, that overnight you can walk into your place of employment and you can be called into your office, called into a meeting and told you've got 90 days, your job is at risk, the budget's been reduced, or the budget's been cut, or the company's gone into administration. You've got 90 days and you're going to be out of work. We're really sorry, but there's nothing we can do. And fortunately, the client I've been working with, he's well positioned, I think, better positioned than most people within his team to make that transition. But it just really brought to the forefront just the seriousness of taking ownership of your income streams, not having all your eggs in one basket, and just being responsible and accountable for your income streams. Now, there are a number of things you can do to prepare for such a situation. Like I said, you never know. When I was at work, a colleague says to me, Tony, don't wait for your job to be at risk before you start building your business. Start now. So at least if your job does get cut, you've got a head start and you can, you're not starting from standstill. And I was so grateful for that advice. And by implementing a few things, when it was time for me to leave work, I felt better positioned to make that transition. So I'm not here to give you doom and gloom. I'm not here to give you negative, to fearmonger or to, spread negative news. But what I'm saying is it's a serious situation. Jobs are being cut left, right, and center. And you've got a responsibility and an accountability. And also you've got the potential to generate income streams that you've got ownership over, that you've got control of, that if your job is cut, at least you can turn to those other income streams and still provide for your loved ones. So what can you do? There's a few things you can do. I just want to share these quickly. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I have got a book where I cover and go into much more detail about this. So I'm just going to give you 7 points. I'm not going to go into any detail. I'm just going to give you 7 points. Get your notepad and write these down. So point number 1 is get your mind right. When, get into that mindset where you're not dependent on your employer. You may have a job, you may be employed, but in your mind, you're not dependent on that employer. Your mindset is you are responsible. You're the responsible person for bringing in income into your home. And, once you start thinking like that and thinking, well, if my job was to go, what could I do? Things start to happen. You start to think differently. You see things differently. You look at opportunities differently. So just get your mind right. Secondly, get your house in order. Get your financial situation in order. Have a filing system. Just get rid of all the clutter in your house, because when you get to that point where your job is cut and you are at risk, any little thing out of place can cause conflict and confrontation. So just get your house in order. Like I said, have a filing system, have a sorting system where all the bills are over there. If you do need to find a bank statement or a mortgage statement, it's over there. If letters come in, open letters, you've got an in tray or something, just have some type of system where there's order. You don't want to be in a chaotic situation or a chaotic household when you've got the pressure of redundancy or losing your job looming over your head. So get your house in order. Point number 3 about preparing for redundancy or preparing for a situation like that is to reduce your debt, or even better, get rid of all your debt. Now, we live in a society where debt is normal, debt is encouraged. Get a credit card, get it, buy now, pay later, get a store card, put it on the store card. It's promoted, it's normal. But the majority of people's income is spent on paying off consumer debt. And if they didn't have that consumer debt, they would be in a much better financial situation. So if their hours were to be reduced, or if they were to lose a job, it would be easier to manage. So just get your finances in order and get out of debt. Clear off as much debt as possible. And again, like I said in my book, 7 Steps to Prepare You to Leave Work and Start Your Own Business, I go into much more detail about the process you can go through to do that. Point number 4 is start saving some money. Just have some savings put down. Just start saving some money, and just have like an emergency fund, whether it's £500, whether it's £1,000. Have an emergency fund that you can fall back on. So if your tumble dryer gives up the ghost, like ours decided to do this weekend, at least it's not a major issue. You've got an emergency fund to dip into to just deal with it. So start saving some money. Just put a bit down every week. If you're in a position where you're currently getting a salary, just take a bit out and put it away every month, every week. Just put some money down. You'll be surprised how quickly it builds up. I saw a post on Facebook recently, and it was basically saying it was a 52-week savings challenge. So obviously 52 weeks is a year, and what it said is every week, whatever week it is, that's how much you save. So week 1 you save £1, week 2 you save £2, and so forth. Week 30 you save £30, week 35 £35, and so on and so on. Week 52 you save £52. By the end of the year, you should have, I think it was around £1,732 or something like that. Quick, simple, and quite easy to do. So something to think about. Start saving some money. Point number 5 in preparing you to leave work is develop new skills. Just, if you've been given notice, if you've got 3 months before your job is cut, spend some time and energy, and even money if you need to, on developing some new skills. Reading, researching, signing up for courses, doing online courses, joining membership groups, e-learning, etc., audio books, podcasts. Just start learning, start to develop new skills, look at new things, and just grow as a person. Because what you don't want to do is to find yourself in a situation where you're a one-trick pony and you're unemployable. So start to build your forte of skills and start growing and learning new things. So that's point number 5. Point number 6 is to build your personal profile. And when I say personal profile, I'm speaking predominantly about your online profile. Everyone's got a CV, and CVs end up on the desk on a pile with other CVs. What you should be looking to do is to really build and enhance your online profile, whether that's via LinkedIn, whether it's via all these social media platforms, whether it's setting up your own website, your own blog. You want to have a strong personal profile that sets you head and shoulders above others in your field. What you don't want to do is just to be an everyday Jack, where you turn up and you hand someone your CV, or you've got nowhere to point to say, well, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I offer. Go and check out my website, or check out my LinkedIn profile. And they go there, and there's a strong presence. So spend some time working on and building up your personal profile, specifically your online presence. If you have got a Facebook page, if you've got any social media profiles, look at them through different eyes. Look at them through the eyes of a potential business partner or a potential future employer who would look at it. And what would they think? What would they see? oftentimes, we put stuff on there and, we cringe. If just think to yourself, if my personal profile was to be shown at an ex-business meeting on a big screen, what are the things you'd want to take away from that? So work on your personal profile. And lastly, step number 7 in preparing to leave work and put yourself in a stronger position is to start building your business. Don't wait. That was the news I was given, and the advice, the wise advice I was given was, Tony, don't wait until you've lost your job until you start building your business. Start now. Start as soon as possible. Someone said, and it's a famous quote, they said that when's the best time to plant a tree? And the answer is 20 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? The answer is today. So start doing what you can do today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till 2 weeks time, 2 months time. Don't wait till you leave your job or you're forced out of your job before you start taking real action to put things in place. So those are some things to consider. Like I said, it's a serious time. Jobs are being cut left, right, and center, and you don't want to get left out in the cold. So just think about that. If you do want to find out more about the steps you can take to prepare yourself to leave work, then if you go over to tonylbrown.com/my free guide, I've got a free ebook on there for you to download, which is called 7 Steps to Prepare You to Leave Work and Start Your Own Business. And I go into much more detail about the things you can do to prepare you to make that transition. Don't be left out in the cold. So moving on to our next subject, and it's still in line with what we've just discussed, that last point about starting your business. And I really want to address this matter of false objections and false barriers that people put up when wanting to start their own business. So just give me a second. No tea today, I'm drinking water. False objections. Now, I've been engaging with a number of people on Twitter this week. I've really spent some time and energy just engaging with people and reaching out to people, and I've really wanted to help a lot of people out there, because a lot of people that they don't like their current position at work. A lot of people hate their jobs. A lot of people feel stifled. They feel like they're not doing what they should be doing. They're not living their purpose. So I just want to help people out. I was there. I know exactly what it was like. I felt those feelings of frustration. I felt those feelings of, I'm just not doing what I was born to do, or I'm not giving my best. And so I've been engaging with a number of people. And whilst engaging with those people, a lot of them say, I'd love to start my own business, but... I'd love to start my own business, but, or I wish I had X amount of money so I could start my own business, or I wish I had a degree, or, I'm waiting to finish my degree so I can start my own business. I want to marry a man with money so I can start my own business. And it's like a lot of these objections, a lot of these barriers as to why they don't start their own business are false. So what I've done, I've been engaging with people and really just asking questions. So what is the biggest barrier? And oftentimes the answer is money. So if you had the money you needed, and if those barriers were removed, what would you do? And then I'd think about this, I'd think about that, I'd start doing this, I'd start doing that. And by the time we've gone back and forth a few times, by the time we've finished, what's the point I want to bring them to is that you don't actually need money to start. There's actually a lot of things you don't need to start a business. There are a few things you do need, but there's a lot of things you actually don't need, and money, believe it or not, is one of them. But that's usually the first barrier or the first objection people put up before they start. It's like they focus on the barriers. I wish I had this so I could start. Well, let's remove that out of the way. You haven't got that at the moment, but what can you do? What can you do now? So what I want to do is just give you a few pointers. And again, we're going to try and be strict with the time today. I'm going to give you a few pointers of some things you can do. And one of them is, in terms of just getting started, is to just map out your business model. So this little gem over here, this is a little book I grabbed and I found really useful. It's a business model generation, and it's a nice well presented, very visual book. But the key thing in here, which I just want to show you quickly, is the business model canvas. Let's see if I can get a good picture of it. Probably not. Basically, it's like, if you can see that, it's broken business model development down into sections, into a number of sections. And I say to a lot of people, just focus on a few areas first. Focus on what is it you're going to offer. Be very clear about what it is you're going to offer through your business. Why are people going to come to you? Why would someone come to your business or to your service rather than go to somebody else's? What's your brand going to stand for? What's going to make you unique? How are you going to reach your clients? And when you do reach them, how are you going to keep them? And think about those things. Spend some time thinking about how you're going to get new clients. You know, you don't need a business to start getting potential clients. Again, I spoke to a young man recently, and he'd received a small loan to start his own business, and he was saying, I'm getting this, I'm looking to get my logo done, I'm going to get some equipment, I'm going to get a vehicle, you know, he's going to get all these things. And I says to him, I says, well, what about clients? And he kind of stopped and was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to work on that. And I had to bring him all the way back and say to him, well, without clients, you've got no business. You can have all the equipment, you can have all these different things in place, but if you've got no clients, you've got no business. So what I encourage you to do is to do the simple things first, the small things first. And one of the main things to do is think about how you're going to get some clients. And when you do get them, how are you going to keep them? And that could be through digital marketing, it could be through Facebook advertising, just reaching out to people on Twitter. There's some things you can do for free or very, very cheaply, which can start you on your path before you, instead of just sitting there and thinking, well, woe is me, I can't start because I haven't got a 20 grand loan. Well, let me tell you this, you probably don't need a 20 grand loan, but do what you can do as best as you can do it with as little as you've got. So whatever you've got, just use it to the best of its ability. So that's that. Again, if you want more, you can tweet me, you can email me, you can reach out to me on Google Plus. I would love to help you in those areas. So, and again, you know, if you want to jump over to tonyo'brown.com, there's some resources over there which you might find useful. So that's that. Don't let these false barriers stop you from making a start. Just make a start. The third thing I want to touch on today is a serious matter, and it's the matter of digital content theft. Now, it's been an issue that's come up 2 or 3 times in the past few weeks on a number of online forums I engage in. And basically what's been happening is that obviously people are putting out digital content, they're putting out blog posts, they're putting out podcasts, they're putting out ebooks, they're putting out video courses and e-courses, etc. And what we're finding is that there are thieves out there who are taking that content and plagiarizing it and reproducing it under their own name or a different name and putting it on another platform for sale. And I mean, it's blatant theft. It's plagiarism. It's blatant theft. Sometimes even word for word. They're taking the content and they're putting it out word for word. And you know, some of them are making lots of money. There was one case where there was somebody took some content, repurposed it, put it out as an ebook, and he's selling up to 18 ebooks on Amazon under his own name. This is other people's content, almost word for word, that he's put out under his own name and selling these things on Amazon and making tens of thousands of pounds. The one guy calculated it to almost £10,000 he's made. So it's a serious matter. So there are things you can do to protect your digital content. If you are a digital content creator, there are things you can do to protect your content. So I just want to go over a few things you can do. You might want to take some notes. There isn't actually a place on here where I can put links. There might be, but I don't know about it yet. But there's some things you can do to protect your digital content. First things first, what you can do, there's some things you can do to prevent it from happening, and there's some things you can do if it does happen. So let's focus on the preventative first. So to prevent people from plagiarizing your material, a few things you can do is obviously on every piece of content you put out, where appropriate, just include a copyright notice. So at the bottom of your content, at the bottom of your website, just include a copyright notice. Now, I know a lot of people don't pay attention to that. They will see it, they'll cut and paste, and they'll steal your content. You can't really stop it. If you're putting stuff out, there's not much you can do to stop people from doing it. If they're going to steal it, they're going to steal it. Another thing you can do is to try and brand everything. So you'll see on certain pieces of content, you'll see a watermark at the top, in the top of the screen. Sometimes they put like a watermark. Maybe in the back, they'll fade like a logo on there. So try to brand all your material. Now, obviously, you don't want to go crazy and brand it to the point where it's made it difficult to consume. The reader's looking at it and thinking, "What is this? Is it just an advert for your business?" But sensibly and where appropriate, try to brand your material. So you'd have your logo on there, your name on there, a link to your website, etc. So branding your material. That's another thing you can do. Another thing, if it's audio, then mentioning your name. So starting it, "Hi, this is Tony Brown of tonylbrown.com, blah, 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 blah." So you basically, you're audio branding it, or you're audio marking it. So just include your brand throughout the audio where possible. And another thing you can do is, so we're moving on to, instead of preventative now, okay, so it has happened, someone stole your material. What can you do to kind of limit the damage, as it were? So you can do what's called a DMCA, which is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And you can send a takedown notice to the web hosting provider where the material's held. So that's something you can do. What the hosting company will do, they'll have to look at the content and take it down if it is found to be plagiarized material. You can also use websites such as copyscape.com, and it's a free plagiarism checker. And you can also do something simple as a Google alert. So if you go to Google Alerts and you put in whether it's your name, the name of your content, the name of your company, and every time that is mentioned online, it will send you an email, and it will give you the URL, the web address as to where it was mentioned. So you can just keep tracks of where you're being mentioned. And it's also good for tracking as well. So digital content theft, it's a real issue, and you need to protect yourself against it. So bear that in mind. I'm just conscious of the time. We've got 2 minutes left. Online forums. Now, like I said, there's a pool of resources that are really valuable and have been forgotten about. And online forums, let's not forget about them. Yes, there's a huge increase in social media. Yes, there's a huge increase in all these different platforms, but oftentimes a lot of them are shallow. If you want to get some real value, some real content that is relevant to your specific industry, relevant to your interest, then engage in online forums. Just find a forum. So know your topic, know what it is you want to learn and grow in, what it is you want to dig deep into, and join a forum. Just join an online forum. There's loads of them out there. If you go to Google and type in forums, and then you'd put your keyword in there, and it will pull up a load of forums that you can access freely. And believe me, this is where people go deep. This is where you get the real answers. This is where you get the real information on these forums. Now, yes, there are Facebook groups you can join. There's other groups that you can engage in. But the real value is in these forums, specific groups around specific topics. So if you want to learn quickly, if you want to grow quickly, if you want to expand your knowledge quite quickly, engage in digital online forums. I encourage you. So those are the main things I wanted to discuss today. It's 8:30. We're about to close. Before we do, I just want to encourage you to, if you did find today useful, if you found it valuable, I've got a free workshop running on Tuesday the 13th of January. And it's a very focused, a very specific workshop where you can register your place. It's absolutely free. There's no charge. and it's an Action Accelerators workshop. And the aim of it is to go a little bit deeper and to take you through a process of the steps you need to put in place to basically start your own business. If you've got a desire, if you've got a goal, if you've got a dream to start your own business, then you need to be at this workshop. I'm going to take you through a proven process that I used. I walked away from a £40,000 job, and I walked straight into a business that I developed from scratch, and that business has kept us, me and my family, for 12 months. So I'm sharing that process with you all freely. Like I said, it's going to be around 45 minutes. It's an online workshop. It's very interactive, very engaging. You're going to do a lot of work. You're going to walk away with a lot of value, and like I said, it's absolutely free. So if you want to register a place at that workshop, it's taking place this Tuesday. It's just go over to tonylbrown.com/action. That's tonylbrown.com/action, and register your place on the free Action Accelerators workshop. I look forward to seeing you next week. I look forward to engaging with you again. All the best. I wish you all the best, and I will see you again on 3V TV. Good night.